All right, for my second data point here, we're going to throw a lot of numbers out because I want to have a discussion on these two young wide receivers, Emeka Egbuka versus Rome Odunze. It's a fun debate dating back, honestly, to last summer in the fantasy community when JJ Zacharyson had a big post about this, and a lot of folks had some thoughts, were asking me about what I thought about JJ's take that he'd rather have Egbuka over Rome Odunze in Dynasty, whether I agreed, whether I disagreed. I think it's still a really fun debate, especially because we got an email from a listener on this. Shout out to Dustin. We don't normally take emails outside of the People's Panic Meter, but he wanted to have this discussion. Dustin wrote in and said, only the wide receiver whisperer can help answer this in week 5 of the 2025 season, but who is the better asset in 2026? Emeka Egbuka or Rome Odunze? I'm in a 2-year keeper and need to trade someone before the trade deadline and keep the other. So, Ray, I have my thoughts on these guys as players. I was really curious from a usage standpoint where you stand on this. I'm just going to throw out some numbers here and kind of let you react to this. So Rome Odunze right now is wide receiver 4 in points per game. Emeka Egbuka is wide receiver 3 in points per game. So these guys are real close. Obviously, Rome has had a bye. In terms of usage for Rome Odunze, he's 12th in the NFL in target share among wide receivers, 8th in air yard share, 12th in first downs per route run, 15th in yards per route run. The Bears offense ranks 21st when you combine EPA per play, success rate, and explosive play rate. Now, on the Egbuka side of things, he's 20th in target share, 13th in air yard share, 26th in first downs per route run, but 8th in yards per route run. The Bucs are 15th in EPA success rate, explosive play rate combined. So that's where the stats lie out for these two. I don't see like a big difference there looking at usage one way or another, but obviously I know this is your lane. So tell me, from a usage standpoint or just a player take standpoint, do you have a strong pull between these two guys?
This is such a fun conversation. It's such a fun conversation because you've got two young receivers that are delivering, and we're excited and we're having this topic. And Jay Rich and I on our show, we actually did a Would You Rather Egbuka versus Rome Odunze. From a usage standpoint, I kind of track these guys using our model Trinity, just rolling all of the numbers that you said, Matt, and putting it on a dot to visually see what that all means. You get no more clarity from the Trinity tool, okay? Emeka Egbuka 7.78, Rome Odunze 7.94. I mean, they're right on top of one another. They're right on top of one another. And then you start to look at the situations. They're both tethered to, at least in Rome's case, a young quarterback whom he could probably grow with. And Baker Mayfield is not NFL old either. He's 30 years old. Plenty of football left in Baker Mayfield. Honestly, I'm not trying to cop out here. Personal preference. Like, who do you like? Who do you like? Like, who do you personally you're vibing with more? I'll tell you this. I wouldn't add anything extra to the other to get the other, right? I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to add a second or a third or fourth round pick in order to get Rome, or I'm going to add something to get Egbuka if I have Rome. These two are truly young studs. I don't know what the poll says. I've got my picture is covering the poll on the screen right now. The YouTube chat poll is up. I can't see it, Matt. So I'll let you break the news to me. I can't see it. Okay. I mean,
the poll,
see it.
The poll is a ridiculous. Yeah, the poll is a ridiculous runaway right now. Who would you rather have in Dynasty? Which is different than the question that Dustin sent in, which is just 2026 as a keeper. In Dynasty right now, the people are saying Emeka Egbuka 73%, Rome Odunze 27%. That's crazy. Wow. And that is you listen, YouTube chat. I love you guys. Thank you for watching along with us and thank you for engaging. But you are inhaling the recency bias right now. You're living in recency bias because Egbuka just went off and Rome Odunze was at home on the bye. Okay, so you're living in recency bias there. I think those results are not reflective of reality, Ray.
I agree with that. I did not, and I'm not kidding y'all. I didn't see the poll. I said 50-50 coin flip. I did not think it would be 70-30. I mean, and let's be honest, part of it too, Matt, Egbuka's the new hot thing, man. This is the rookie.
Totally.
He's playing in Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield. There are probably still some people out there skeptical on Rome Odunze, and then they'll talk to him, well, I still don't know about Caleb, and, well, he wasn't that good his rookie year. Like, Egbuka's come out right out the gate, and he's delivered. All I want to say, and there is no negative Emeka Egbuka take out there from old GQ. I'm telling you that right now. I just want to say that the stars align perfectly. You see the Trinity right here. Egbuka's first 5 games versus Egbuka's first 5 games. Versus Puka Nakua's first 5 games as a rookie. Like, it's very close. It's very similar. Egbuka's doing this with only 25 receptions. Matt, 25 catches. Like, imagine if he got the type of volume that Nakua got. These are both two talented receivers, man. These are both two. It should not be 70-30. It shouldn't be 78-28, 72-28. That shouldn't be the case right now. It took the stars aligning for a talented player, but they lost their top 3 pass catchers from last season.
Right.
Evans, Godwin, and Jalen McMillan. They lost their top 3. I'm not saying Egbuka. I'm not disparaging them at all. But the stars align perfectly. Odunze's had to go get this and earn this. These are both 2 studs, man.
No, that's a great point. It doesn't take anything away from what Emeka Egbuka is doing to point out that, yes, obviously Mike Evans is not out there. Chris Godwin is far from 100%, and Jalen McMillan might be on IR until the bye. So those are all just facts of the situation. But that, again, it doesn't take anything away from what Emeka Egbuka has done, because what he's done is be as good as you could possibly be. Like I said, wide receiver 3 in points per game, 8th in yards per route run. He's been fantastic. By the way, from a film perspective, I think he's been outrageously good. I think he's been awesome. I think he's been great. He's been awesome for a rookie wide receiver. He, unlike Rome Odunze, who came in, into his rookie season, and I've talked to him about this, kind of struggled against zone coverage as a rookie. Emeka Egbuka has been great against zone coverage right from the jump, both from a production standpoint and from an eye test standpoint. His success rate versus zone coverage in reception perception, not only has it been great so far in the NFL, Ray, he actually had a better success rate versus zone coverage than all of the wide receivers in last year's class, in the 2024 class. And that was a class everybody was excited about. I was excited about. He just has a great sense of how to beat zone coverage, which, guess what all the best wide receivers in the NFL have right now? The Puka Nakuas, the Amon-Ra St. Browns, the Justin Jeffersons. That's what these guys are doing. Emeka Egbuka, we showed the chart earlier that I put out today about, EPA per target, or EPA on your targets and targets per route run when you're going over the middle of the field between the numbers and 10 plus air yards. He's up there already producing like the Pukas, like the St. Browns, like the JSNs, all these guys that are fantastic right now. So he is putting it on film. So I actually think rest of season, because of the quarterback variable here, and maybe even in 2026, maybe the edge still goes to Egbuka. I will say, from a dynasty perspective, if we're looking 3 years out, I still have Rome, like, it's same tier for me. I actually just recently bumped up Egbuka into this. I bumped up Rome like right away based on film this year. I bumped him up right away to that tier. Now that I've seen it from Egbuka over multiple weeks, I've literally this morning bumped him up into that same tier as well. Changes should be on my website here pretty soon. I think it's very close, but I think maybe over 3 years, I still might prefer Rome, just because I thought he was a better prospect. I think Caleb could get there with Ben Johnson, but there really is no wrong answer here in my opinion.
Yeah, I love Odunze, and it's just I think that rookie season still has a little bit of taint on him. Some people still kind of remember that, but when I was looking over the last 5 years, of wide receivers to average 17 half PPR points, Egbuka and Rome Odunze are in this club and in this category, but Emeka Egbuka's target share of 22.9%, right at 23, it's the second fewest, only next to Cooper Kupp, who only played 9 games in 2022. So it's one of those things where it's like, if he got some more volume, and the names inside of here, man, you're talking Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, Debo, Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, and then you've got Emeka Egbuka and Rome Odunze in that subset. I mean, it's phenomenal what these two are doing this season. It's pick your flavor. Which one do you like? But both of them are studs.
I like the way you broke that down there, because I think there's been a strange temptation. I think it's a maybe some paralysis by overanalysis. I also think maybe it's just impatience with young players in general. where, well, his target share is so low. Is that not a concern? I like the way that you looked at it where, what if that thing catches up? And guess what? Like all this stuff we're saying right now about what we're seeing from Emeka Egbuka on film, Josh Grizzard and the boys, Baker Mayfield hasn't been able to shut up about Egbuka basically since they drafted him. Parentheses complimentary when I say that. He hasn't been able to stop talking about it. You think they're not going to watch the film and be like, we got to find more ways to get this guy the football, which is, by the way, what Ben Johnson did, reviewed the film on Rome Odunze and said, we got to get this guy the football. And you know what's happened to start this year? Targets.
Harmon, is he the wide receiver one even when Mike Evans comes back? My answer to that is yes. I wrote about it on Sunday. I think even when Evans is back, that is the one.
Man, that's tough. I'm not as slam dunk on it, which also, by the way, maybe that's another point in Rome's favor, just because like he is the one. Ain't nobody coming for that crown. Luther Burden's going to make things interesting in the long term, but you know, he's just clearly surpassed DJ Moore, all that stuff. Like nobody's coming for that crown for Rome Odunze in Chicago. So it's just kind of, I hate this stuff because guess what you mean when you say 1A, 1B, one letter comes before the other. You're saying a 1 and a 2. Okay. But would you rather have the 1B, the close 2, if, which I do think it's an if that ends up being the case with Emeka Egbuka, would you rather have that with Baker Mayfield or the clear number 1 with Caleb Williams, who's showing progress and growing, but there's still some hit and miss there? Like, for example, when I talk about these receivers that are winning over the middle of the field between the numbers and over 10-plus air yards, I think Rome's got the skill set for it, but Caleb still has to learn to take those throws, where it's like, you watch Baker Mayfield, he got no problem taking those throws, especially to number 2 down there in Tampa Bay.
It's a great question. I think this question right here, there is no right or wrong answer, but it's everything about fantasy football and why it makes it fun. Because we can debate back and forth about who's the 1, the 2 in Tampa Bay. How's it look when Evans gets back? How does Caleb Williams' development down the field, over the middle of the field, which Baker Mayfield has got no fear to do? That's what makes this so fun. And just to have these guys be this good this early. And the real winner of this question and this conversation are the people who drafted Emeka Egbuka and the people who drafted Rome Odunze. Those are the real winners here.
Yes, those are the winners. I think, yeah, right. The TLDR of everything we just said there. Who's going to be better in the long term? We don't know for sure. It's going to probably flip like month by month. It's going to look like this guy or that guy. I think it's going to be really close. But the good news is both of them are going to be good.